All right, let's jump right into this explainer and completely shatter the illusion that our digital lives are private. Because honestly, every single time we click, share, or log in, we're building this massive, invisible profile of ourselves. Today, we're tearing down the hard data from our source material on social media data leaks. We're going to see exactly what happens to our info, who is swiping it, and what it actually costs us. So, here's the game plan. We're tracing the entire life cycle of a data leak today. First, the digital footprint reality. 2, why hackers want your data. 3, the price of weak security. Next, ransom, fines, and cover-ups. And finally, curing our data apathy. Basically, what you absolutely must do next. Section 1. The digital footprint reality. Leaving an indelible mark. The absolute kicker here is that most of us don't even realize the permanent digital footprint we're leaving behind. The sources literally define this as an indelible trail of personal data. And it is wild how this stuff gets weaponized years down the line. Like, the source points out that an anti-US post from years ago can straight up deny you entry at the border today. Or let's get a bit more sci-fi for a second. Think about voice apps like Clubhouse. People are in there chatting away, right? Not even realizing they're building what could be the world's biggest spoken word database. With AI moving this fast, that data risks fueling fake voice scams to bypass bank security. Your voice today could literally hand over the keys to your bank account tomorrow. Crazy, right? Let's put this in perspective. Would you ever take a piece of paper with your full name, your exact age, your home address, and your family details, and just tack it to a public bulletin board downtown for complete strangers to stare at? No way. But we do exactly that online every single day. The source draws this brilliant parallel. Social networks are hoarding massive amounts of data. They know your face, your circle, your exact GPS coordinates. There is this huge glaring disconnect between how fiercely we guard our physical secrets and how casually we just hand over our online lives. Section 2. Why hackers want your data. The motivation behind the breach. So why do they do it? Well, a staggering 90% of attacks on social networks are all about the money, pure financial gain. Hackers are stealing your data to flip it to third parties or to directly blackmail you. And the going rate for your digital life? It is shockingly cheap. On the black market, your credit card data goes for around $20. Your medical data or your social security number? Try as low as $10. Now, that remaining 10% of attacks, that's just personal motive. Hackers flexing their skills just to prove they can crack a system's security. How are they pulling this off? Sometimes it's classic phishing, sending a sketchy link to steal your login and drain your money. But what's really fascinating and kind of terrifying is the rise in social engineering. Cybercriminals are manipulating us directly in chats. They'll clone a legitimate public profile. Remember those massive celebrity Twitter hacks? And use that trusted face to send you a malicious file. You think you're just messaging an interesting stranger or a buddy, but actually, you're installing malware that's watching your every move. And listen, it's not just some guy in a hoodie in a basement. We're talking massive corporate data operations too. The text highlights the 2018 Cambridge Analytica case as a prime example. They vacuumed up data from nearly 50 million Facebook users without explicit permission and fed that immense data set into a program to profile voters and push personalized political ads during the 2016 Trump campaign. Regardless of your politics, the takeaway here is the sheer scale. It shows exactly how the volume of our social media data can be processed and weaponized to influence decisions on a massive global level. Section 3. The price of weak security. How corporations fail us. So why do the companies holding our data keep failing? It basically comes down to 3 main things. First up, software bugs. Hackers found an 8-year-old bug in Microsoft Exchange, sparking a worldwide attack that exposed over 200,000 servers. Then you've got outdated security. For example, LinkedIn just kept using the SHA-1 algorithm for hashing passwords long after experts warned it was completely unsuitable, which massively increased the risk of getting cracked. And third, third-party transit. Even if your network is locked down, they constantly beam your data out to external analysts. A lot of leaks happen while that data is literally on the road or sitting on much weaker third-party servers. And as you can see, massive breaches are just a constant, escalating reality. In 2013, Adobe lost 153 million users' info, and Yahoo had a catastrophic breach of 3 billion accounts. 2016 brought the Uber and Tesco bank hacks. 2019, a Facebook leak hitting almost 533 million users. Between human error, outdated tech, and hackers constantly staying a step ahead, data leaks are practically a daily occurrence everywhere personal data is collected. Section 4. Ransom, fines, and cover-ups. The financial fallout. Let's talk numbers, because the financial fallout is wild. Just $20. Like we mentioned earlier, that is the literal price tag for your credit card data on the black market. Your entire financial security sold for the price of a takeout lunch. How about $100,000? Back in 2016, hackers breached the Uber app, swiping 600,000 driver records and 57 million user accounts. But instead of reporting it, Uber actually paid the hackers $100,000 in hush money to keep quiet. Obviously, that cover-up completely blew up in their face, and they were later hit with a $148 million fine. Then there's $500,000. Hackers completely crippled the systems for Lake City Council, locking up vital data and shutting down tax payment gateways. Technicians literally pulled the plug minutes after spotting the attack, but it was already too late. The city was forced to agree to pay nearly $500,000 in Bitcoin ransom just to get their own files back. While insurance covered a chunk of it, the city still ate $100,000 straight out of their own pocket. And finally, the big one, a record-breaking $5 billion fine. After that massive 2019 leak of 533 million users we talked about, a data protection commission nailed Facebook for violating EU directives with this historic penalty. You might ask, do these fines even work? Well, the source text argues that hitting corporations with fines tied to a percentage of their global turnover is actually a highly effective way to force them to store our data safely. Section 5. Curing our data apathy. Taking control of your footprint. Okay, so we've seen the scale of the problem globally. Now let's turn the mirror on ourselves. The source uses this brilliant insurance analogy here. We treat data security exactly like we treat insurance. We completely ignore it until the house is on fire. IT tells us to back up our files, and we don't until the hard drive is wiped. We know we shouldn't recycle the same password for everything, but we do it anyway because it's easy. Even after a major breach, most users don't even bother to change their passwords. This kind of apathy, it is an attacker's absolute dream. So we need a game plan to fix this. When a leak drops, actually, scratch that. Do this right now. First, change your passwords and stop reusing them. Seriously. Second, set up two-factor authentication everywhere immediately. Third, proactively verify if your data has been stolen, because a lot of times you won't even know until a buddy tells you they got a weird email from your account. And fourth, for the love of everything, stop posting your offline secrets. I really want to leave you with this powerful concept directly from our source material. It's safest not to post anything you wouldn't post outside of social media. We have to fundamentally rethink how we share. Sure, it's great to push our thoughts and experiences out there, but every single detail increases the chance of catching a cyber attacker's attention. The online world is exactly as real and exactly as dangerous as the physical one. The experts predict that cyber attacks are only going to ramp up year after year. Let's be real. Nobody is going to boycott social media. If one platform gets hacked, we'll all just migrate to the next shiny app. The breaches are not going to stop. So, when the next major network gets compromised, is your data going to be in the crossfire? Are you going to take control of your footprint today, or just wait around until you're the next target?